Today, let's talk about something we all consume daily. Salt. It's a crucial ingredient in our food, enhancing flavors and making meals more enjoyable. In fact, many recipes include the common phrase, add a pinch of salt. But how much is a pinch? The World Health Organization, WHO, recommends a daily salt intake of less than 5 grams, roughly the same as a teaspoon. Our bodies actually need some salt, at least 1 gram per day to survive. However, most people consume far too much, which increases the risk of high blood pressure and heart disease. So, the question is, how much salt is too much? Before diving into the details, let's test your knowledge. Salt is often hidden in foods, especially in processed food. Which of the following do you think contains the most salt? A. Meat. B. Bread. C. Pasta. Think about it, and I'll reveal the answer later. Now let's take a look at Kazakhstan, where people consume an average of 17 grams of salt per day, more than 3 times the WHO recommendation. Why is salt intake so high there? Marian Sumbiva from Astana, the capital of Kazakhstan, explains, historically, Kazakh nomads traveled across the steppes and needed to preserve their food. They used salt to keep meat from spoiling and even added salt to dairy products like cheese and butter. While salt has a long history of preserving food, excessive salt intake today, especially from modern, processed food, leads to health problems. When we eat too much salt, our bodies retain water to dilute it. This puts extra pressure on the heart, causing high blood pressure, which, over time, can lead to heart disease. Governments worldwide are taking different approaches to reduce salt intake. Australia has lowered its recommended salt consumption to 6 grams per day, while the UK has passed laws requiring food companies to reduce the amount of salt in their products, recommending just 5 grams per day. Professor Claire Collins from the University of Newcastle in Australia shares an important perspective. Instead of arguing whether the limit should be 5 or 6 grams, she suggests we should take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Around the world, excessive salt intake contributes to high blood pressure, premature strokes, and even premature mortality, health problems occurring earlier than they should. The key is to find culturally appropriate solutions for each country. So how can we reduce salt consumption without sacrificing flavor? Instead of adding salt, try using herbs and spices to enhance taste. And now it's time to reveal the answer to my earlier question. Which everyday food contains the most salt? If you guessed meat, you were right. Processed meats contain around 19% salt, making them the saltiest. Bread comes next at 14%, followed by pasta at 7%. Before we wrap up, let's review some key vocabulary from today's discussion. Preserve, to prevent food from spoiling so it can be eaten later. Nomads, people who travel from place to place instead of settling in one location. Dairy products, foods made from milk, such as cheese and butter. Take a step back, to pause and reconsider a situation more calmly. Look at the bigger picture, to focus on the overall meaning instead of small details. Premature, something that happens too early or before the right time. That's all for today. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.